طيب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا وهدى وتقى ورشادا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم فقهنا في الدين وعلمنا التأويل. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع ومن قلب لا يخشع ومن نفس لا تشبع ومن دعوة لا يستجاب لها. نعوذ بك اللهم من هؤلاء الأربع. أما بعد، فحياكم الله جميعا في الدرس الخامس في شرح مختصر نحو المفيد للمبتدئ فيه والمعيد. فقد وقفنا في الدرس الماضي عند الكلام عن انقسام الاسم إلى مفرد ومثنى وجمع. مفرد ومثنى وجمع. طيب يا إخوان, previously alhamdulillah we discussed that an ism can be mudhakkar and mu'annath, and the second thing that we will be now discussing is that an ism can be mufrad or muthanna or jama'. طيب, that's the second classification of ism. طبعا with regards to mudhakkar and mu'annath, we mentioned some of the alamat of ta'nith, alamat lafdhiyya, alamat that occur in the wording, and that are which namely are three: ta marbuta and alif at-ta'nith al-mamduda and alif at-ta'nith al-maqsura. So the words containing ta marbuta or alif at-ta'nith al-maqsura or mamduda, they are supposed to be feminine words, except if they are names for a male person or an animal مثلا that is male, and it has been given a name. Other than this, these words will be considered as feminine nouns. On the other hand, barakallahu fikum, we have names that are void of these three alamat of ta'nith. They are generally considered as masculine nouns, with a few exceptions, of course, as we mentioned in the previous lesson: shams, dar, harb, khamr. These are the exceptional cases. Likewise, those limbs which we have in pairs, or those body parts that we have in pairs, مثلا, like ayn, udhun, yad, rijl, saq, fakhidh, dhira', وهكذا. Likewise, names of tribes or cities or countries, they are feminine nouns always. وهكذا, or names or nouns that are exclusive to women or to females, مثلا حامل, مرضع, حائض, أخت, وهكذا. طيب, I want to ask you one question before we proceed, and that is that when is alif at-ta'nith al-maqsura, alif maqsura and alif mamduda, when are these two considered an alama of ta'nith? And there was a sharta, there was a condition for these two to be considered as a sign of ta'nith. What was that sharta? Like wherever we find alif mamduda, will it be an alama of ta'nith, or there is some sort of nuance to it? نعم.
3 letters should be found.
يعني
full word should be found.
Or to be more precise, Akhi Abayub, the root letters should be done with. The root letters should have finished by that. And after the root letters are finished, then this alif occurs. That is when this will be considered an alam of ta'nith. If the root letters haven't yet finished, haven't yet ended, there are still some root letters to come, then this is not an alif of ta'nith. It is an alif, yes, it is an alif mamduda, it's an alif maqsura, but it is not an alif for ta'nith, for femininity. واضح يا إخوان? That is clear inshallah?
Yes. Yes, clear.
إذن الآن نبدأ بالمسألة الثانية: انقسام الاسم إلى مفرد ومثنى وجمع. We said mufrad means
singular.
أحسنتم. ومثنى means
double.
أحسنت. وجمع means
plural.
plural. أحسنتم. إذا مفرد ومثنى وجمع معناها singular, dual or double and plural. أحسنتم. فالمفرد ما دل على واحد من جنسه. طبعا these definitions we are not in need of them as long as we know the meaning of mufrad is the singular noun. And muthanna is the double or dual form, singular form, dual form, and the third one is plural form. That is jam'. طيب. Then we give examples. كتاب نحو كتاب ومسجد وكعبة وشجرة ومسلم ومسلمة. والمثنى ما دل على اثنين من جنسه. That is for two of the same type. Jins means genus, yani the type of thing. Yani whatever thing that we're talking about, that's what it refers to. Right. نحو كتابان كتابين. Now, in order to make a mufrad, in order to convert it into a muthanna, what are we adding at the end of the word?
Ya and noon.
Or alif and noon. صح? Alif and noon or ya and noon. And the noon must have a kasra. كتابان كتابين. وأما الغلام فكان أبواه مؤمنين in سورة الكهف. وأما الغلام فكان أبواه مؤمنين. طيب. Okay. مسجد. كيف تجعل المسجد مثنى? How will you make masjid into a muthanna? By adding either of
alif noon
or
ya noon.
أحسنتم. كذلك كعبتان كعبتين، شجرتان شجرتين، مسلمان مسلمين، مسلمتان مسلمتين. طيب سؤال الآن. Is alif and noon exactly the same as ya and noon? Or is there a difference? I mean, why is there this difference of alif and noon and ya and noon? Why don't we just have one form that is ya and noon? Or what is this difference for? Does it mean something? Does it show something? Yes, it does. It is this difference in i'rab that we learned in the muqaddimah, if you remember. They indicate mansoob majroor, mumtaz. Ya indicates mansoob majroor and alif indicates marfu'. What does this mean? This means this alif and ya, they vary with the variation of the roles of this word in the sentence. So if the word in the sentence is playing the role of the fa'il, of the doer, of the subject, then this will be alif and noon. It will come with an alif and noon. Ja'ani, مثلا you will say, came to me. Who came to me? Talibani, two students. Or muallimani, two teachers. Because now their role in the sentence is that of a subject or a fa'il or a doer. And that is why they will have an alif and noon. But as soon as they change its role and make it into an object, مثلا, if we say رأيت, I saw طالبين ورأيت معلمين. Now when it became the object, the maf'ul bihi, the one upon whom the fi'l is being applied, then it changed, instead of having an alif, now it has a ya. واضح يا إخوان? So this change occurs with the change in its role in the sentence. So if its role in the sentence changes, then this change occurs in the word. كتابان كتابين، مسجدان مسجدين، كعبتان كعبتين، مسلمان مسلمين، وهكذا. طيب. What are how to determine when we are supposed to say kitaban, when we are supposed to say kitabain, when we are supposed to say musliman or muslimain? This, inshallah, we will be discussing when we discuss al-mu'rab wal-mabni. Al-mu'rab wal-mabni. And as we progress in the science of Nahw, this will become clearer and clearer by every day, inshallah, gradually, when to use alif and noon, when to use ya and noon. And in order to just, if you're unable to still understand the difference between the two, just remember the difference between he and him, and she and her. Just like how we use he at times and him at times and she at times and her at times. Likewise, we use Muslimani at times, Muslimaini at times. You see, when the roles change, you refer to the same person but using a different form of a word. You refer to the same person using him instead of he, because of the role, its role in the sentence. It comes naturally to you in English, right? Naturally in English, we are saying, I saw him. You never say, I saw he and I saw she. You will say, I saw her, I saw him. So it comes naturally to you in English. In Arabic, and in the initial stages, you will have to try hard, and you'll have to strive to be able to implement and apply it. And after some time, it will come naturally to you. The more you practice, ya ikhwan, the more natural Arabic will become to you. Now, even when you're reading the books, even when you're reading a book and you're reading مثلا without not reciting it aloud, but in your mind, just put some harakat on the words. Don't read the book like this. فالمفرد ما دل على واحد من جنسه نحو كتاب مسجد كعبة شجر. لا, put harakas in your mind so that you train yourself to apply the laws of Nahw, to apply the qawa'id, the principles, the laws of Nahw. When you train yourself in your mind, you will find yourself very good at Nahw. You will be able to identify the fa'il, the fi'il, the maf'ul bihi, the ism kana, khabar kana, mubtada, khabar, whatever you're looking for, you will be recognizing it while you are reciting or reading the text at the very same speed. But all it requires from you is practice. The more you practice when you are reading Arabic, whenever you're reading a book, just don't read it for the information that is in there. Also implement the laws of Nahw. Think, why is it this way? Why does it have this alama? Think about it. And eventually, as you read with the same speed, you will be doing the i'rab of the sentence, inshallah. There will be a day when you will be looking at the sentence and وَالْجَمْعُ مَا دَلَّ عَلَى ثَلَاثٍ فَأَكْثَرَ مِنْ جِنْسِهِ. You will be, mashallah, doing the i'rab in your mind. وَالْجَمْعُ مُبْتَدَى مَا دَلَّ is khabar, and دَلَّ then fi'l, then عَلَى حرف ثلاث اسم مجرور بعلى, فأكثر هذه فالعطف أكثر, this is معطوف على ثلاث مجرور علامة جره الفتحة لأنه ممنوع من الصرف من جنسه إلى آخر. You see, as you move, you will be able to recognize each one of these words and their roles in the sentences and put its i'rab. And Nahw, remember ya ikhwan, the Nahw is a tool. Nahw is not something that you learn for its sake. You see, like fiqh, you learn for its sake, right? Like fiqh is one of the, we call them ulum al-ghaya. Ulum al-ghaya means those sciences in Islam which you which you set as a goal to learn. Tafsir is a goal, fiqh is a goal, hadith is a goal, aqidah is a goal in and of itself, you see. But when it comes to these ulum al-alah means those sciences which act like a tool, which help you unlock and understand the other sciences like Nahw, Sarf, Usul Fiqh. These should be ingrained and engraved in your mind. These should be flowing in your blood. Maybe how it should be is like you might not remember the list of these qawa'id. You wouldn't remember how many huruf are there in huruf al-atf. You might not remember these things, but what is important is when it comes to implementation and application, you will be a master of application. That's what is required. So practice so much that even if you forget each word of this book, you don't remember any example that is mentioned in the book, but the application was so strong that it comes naturally to you. If you ask مثلا Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu or Umar radiallahu anhu, what are the huruf al-atf? Maybe he will not be able to mention all of them to you at once, but when he talks in Arabic, khalas, it comes naturally to him. So that's the goal, ya ikhwan. Learn these qawa'id, use them as a tool, apply them so much that they become part of your bones and part of your blood, and it comes naturally to you, inshallah. طيب. إذن يا إخوان ننتقل الآن إلى الجمع. قال والجمع ما دل على ثلاث فأكثر. جمع is 3 or more, 3 plus. طبعا there is a very big خلاف. They say يعني some Arabs or some ulama they mentioned that in جمع is 2 and above, and some say no it's 3 and above. يعني المهم it's not to go into it. قال نحو كتب ومساجد ومسلمون ومسلمين ومسلمات. طيب والجمع نوعان. So the جمع of kitab was kutub. Just notice what is going on here, okay? These are the same words and we are taking them from mufrad to muthanna to جمع. Masjid, masjidani, masajid. Kaaba, طبعا we didn't mention, but we're mentioning Muslim. Muslim, Muslimani, Muslimuna. Muslimah, Muslimatani, Muslimat. واضح يا إخوان? So notice how they are changing. Now again, when it comes to Muslimuna and Muslimina, we are having two options here. Muslimuna and Muslimina. Now why are we having these two options? Because of their roles in the sentence. And in order to understand this, just remember he and him. So if Muslimun is the subject, is the doer of a fi'l, we will say مثلا جاء المسلمون. And if it is the object, someone upon whom the fi'l is being applied, you will say رأيت, I saw al-muslimina. And an example of this is يعني the ayah in Surah Al-Imran, لا يتخذ المؤمنون الكافرين أولياء من دون المؤمنين. What does the ayah say? It says لا يتخذ المؤمنون الكافرين أولياء. طيب. Now here مؤمنون is with a waw and kafirin is with a ya. So who can tell me which one is the subject? Yani the doer of yattakhid. Yattakhid means do not take. Do not take. They should not take. Who should not take and whom should not be taken as awliya? Awliya means allies. So who should not take and who is the one who should not be taken as allies? Ayah Shabab, from this ayah.
Muslimun should not, mu'minun should not take the kafirun as awliya.
Ahsant. The mu'minun should not take the kafirin as awliya. So mu'minun here is the doer, the fa'il, and kafirin here is the maf'ul bihi awwal. But let's just start maf'ul bihi, the object. And that is why we had kafirin instead of kafirun. And here we had mu'minun. You see how when the role changed in the sentence, the word altered a little bit. This is what Nahw is all about. So in Jama' as well, there is a type of Jama' in this which happens, in which this happens, and inshallah we'll discuss it in shortly. Let me just clean it all up now. Wal jam'u naw'an. The Jama' is of two types. What are the two types of Jama'? Barakallahu fikum. The two types of Jama' are Jam'un Salim and Jam'un Mukhtasar. What is Jam' Salim? Jam' Salim is the one whose mufraduhu salimun minal kasri. Yani it is saved and it is sound and it's safe from kasr. What is kasr?
Short.
To breakage. So it's salim min al-kasr. It's mufrad. Its singular form does not break. What do we mean by this? I'll come to it. Jam' mukassar is the one mufraduhu yuksar. Its singular form, it's broken. It becomes broken. What are we talking about? With the mithal, بالمثال يتضح المقال. Look at Muslimun. What is the mufrad? What is the singular form of Muslimun? What is the singular form of Muslimun, ya ikhwan?
Muslim.
Muslim. طيب. Is Muslim here intact or did it get broken in the Jama'? Is it intact or did it get broken? It's intact. It didn't get broken in the sense it's not altered. It does not undergo any change. Muslim remained Muslim. All that we did was added we added waw and noon to it, right? It remained intact. It didn't undergo any change. And this breakage, it's not necessarily broken by a letter. Even if there is some sort of a change that occurs in the haraka, then it's also considered a breakage, or brokenness now. So by breakage here we mean a change. Here we mean by breakage change in the letters or in the harakat. I'll give examples for each one of them, inshallah. Right. Now, come to Muslimin. Is the word Muslim intact or did it get broken?
It's intact.
It's intact. That means it's Jam'a Salim. Come to the word Muslimat. What is the mufrad of Muslimat? Muslimah. Okay. That's the mufrad of Muslimat. Type. What is this ta? This ta is a ta of ta'nis. Okay. So the main word again, the main word here is Muslim, and we added a ta of ta'nis to it to denote that it's being used for a female, but that's not important here. What is important is Muslim. Muslim. Okay. Now Muslimah. Okay. Is Muslim intact here in Muslimat, or did it get broken? Did it get changed? The order of the letters got changed, or the harakat got changed?
It's still intact.
It's still intact. Mumtaz. Right. Now come to Kitab and Kutub. Let's move on to Kitab and Kutub. Now, what is the mufrad of Kutub? It's Kitab. Look at Kitab. Kaf, ta, alif, ba. Did it get broken here in Kutub? Is there some sort of a change that occurred in the mufrad when it was converted into the plural form?
Yes, there's a
What
change.
was the change?
The alif in the mufrad was
The alif in the mufrad was removed. In addition to it, the harakat also changed, right? So we had a kaf with the kasra and a ta with the fatha, right? And we had an alif. Now what do we have here? We removed the alif. We changed the fatha of the ta into dhamma and the kasra of the kaf into kutub, and it became kutubun. So there was a change in haraka. There was a change in the letters as well. Okay. Come to masajid. What is the mufrad of masajid? Masjid. Masjidun. Ahsantum. Masjidun. Tayyib. Is there any change that is occurring in masajid when we converted masjid into masajid? What change occurred, ya ikhwan?
There's the inclusion of alif in the Jannah.
There is an addition of alif here. So there is a breakage here. Here the Jam'a got broken. And also there is some change in the harakat as well. The scene, instead of having a sukoon, now it has a fatha because it is succeeded by an alif. واضح يا إخوان? So there was a change. Now I'll give you a difficult one. Asad. Who knows the Jam'a of Asad? There are actually more than one Jam'a, but can someone tell me one Jam'a of Asad? Asad طبعا means lion. One of the Jam'a of Asad is
Asad.
Ust. طيب الآن يا شباب, this Ust is this a Jam' Mukassar or is it a Jam' Salim?
I think it's Jama Mukassar because the harakat changed.
أيوة أحسنت. That's what is important here, Ikhwan. So that this when we say Mukassar, it's a term that we use just to understand. This is a term that we use in Nahw. It does not necessitate that there should be some sort of a breakage, and in the sense that there is an additional letter that is getting added or a letter is being removed. By breakage, we mean a change in the letters or a change in the harakat. You see, we had Asad, it became Usd. Now what do we have here? A Dhamma and a Sukun instead of Fatha and Fatha. إذن يا إخوان هذا أيضا جمع مكسر. This also is a جمع مكسر. واضح يا إخوان? Is this clear? And if you get still you are يعني getting, if you're still obsessing with it, then remember the Jam' Salim has only these two types: Jam' Mudhakkar Salim, Jam' Mu'annath Salim. Okay, and I will explain them. We did not explain them. We first explained Salim and Mukassar first. We're going to come to it. Any Jam' in Arabic outside of Jam' Mudhakkar Salim and Jam' Mu'annath Salim, the Jam' Mudhakkar Salim has only one form, these two forms. That's it, Muslimun, Muslimin. And Jam' Mu'annath Salim also has this Muslimat, one form. There are no more other Jam' Salims except these two, Mudhakkar Salim, Mu'annath Salim. Any Jam' in Arabic outside of these three, or outside of these two, that is Mudhakkar Salim, Mu'annath Salim, is a Jam' Mukassar. So if any plural does not apply or does not you can say لا يصدق على مذكر سالم ومؤنث سالم, it does not come in accordance with مذكر سالم and مؤنث سالم, then خلاص it's a جمع مكسر. Okay, now let us explain what جمع مذكر سالم is and جمع مؤنث سالم is. Okay, جمع مذكر سالم يا إخوة, it is a جمع that is used for مذكر. What is مذكر? What's مذكر يا إخوان? Masculine. So it's a jam' that is used for masculine nouns. But what type of masculine nouns? That which is aqil. Not even necessarily aqil. Some for insan, generally for insan, for humans mostly. Okay. So jam' mudhakkar salim is usually used for humans. So we have Muslimun, Muslim is a human, right? So we'll say Muslimun for the jam'. كذلك مثلا كاتب. Katib means writer. طيب. What will be the jam' of writer? Because it's a human being. So you can use katib. شباب. Muslim, Muslimun, katib.
كاتبون.
Katibun. طيب. If you have talib, you can say talib.
طالبون.
طالبون. If you have مثلا كافر, you can say
كافرون.
كافرون. أحسنت. طيب وهكذا. Okay. إذن جمع مذكر سالم إذا جمع that is used for masculine nouns. Masculine nouns, not all masculine nouns. Like for example, if you have Asad, Asad is a masculine noun, but Asad is a name of an animal. It's not a name of, it's not a noun for a human being. So you cannot say Asadun. It is only used for aqil. It is only used for someone who is considered an aqil. An aqil, by aqil we mean مثلا insan or jinn, or something like this, or malaika, مثلا some angel, or maybe no, not even angels. Malak is malaika. We don't use the word. And generally, this is the qaid that we say that it's for aqil. So if the masculine noun is aqil, this is the sort of jam' you can use. Jam' mudhakkar salim. Muslimun. طيب. And what else? And Muslim, Muslimun, and the other form is Muslimin, depending on its role in the sentence. Likewise, kafir, kafirun, or kafirin, talib, talibun, or talibin, katib, katibun, or katibin, وهكذا. واضح يا إخوان? Is this clear?
Yes.
Yes, inshallah.
Okay. Now let's come to Jam' Mu'annath Salim. And Jam' Mu'annath Salim is more generic. طبعا Jam' Mu'annath means the plural of a feminine noun. And this plural is Salim. This plural is not broken. It's Salim. That's what it means. I request everyone to please turn their videos off. Someone has mistakenly turned the video on. No. Right. Salim is an adjective for Jam'. Yani a sound, I don't know how they translate it in English when they teach grammar. Yani sound plural for feminine nouns. Sound means yani free of any breakage. And Jam' Mudhakkar Salim yani sound plural for masculine nouns. You can write this. Jam' Mu'annath Salim ya ikhwan. What about it? It is ya ikhwan a jam' for aqil, for ghayr aqil as well. Not just for aqil. So if it's a Muslima, you can say Muslimat, aqil. But even if it is something that is ghayr aqil, like thallaja, you can say thallajat. So as long as the noun is feminine, you can use it. And even sometimes when the noun is not feminine, we use it. For example, Riyal. What's the jam' of Riyal? What is written on the currency notes? Khamsatu.
Riyal.
لا خمسة ريال.
ريالات.
ريالات. أحسنت. خمسة ريالات. Now riyal is a masculine noun. So sometimes for غير عاقل, even if the noun is a masculine noun, you can use جمع مؤنث سالم. See? So جمع مؤنث سالم is much more يعني encompassing when compared to جمع مذكر سالم. جمع مذكر سالم is exclusive to عاقل, someone who is an عاقل, someone who has intellect, like a human being. You see, مسلمون, مؤمنون, كافرون, كذلك مثلا طالبون, معلمون, وجاء المعذرون من الأعراب, كذلك نقول إيش يعني if you're using it for nationalities مثلا السعوديون, الباكستانيون, النيجيريون, الهنديون وهكذا, you can use it. So anywhere where you are using it as an adjective for a human being, you're describing a human being or you're referring to a human being, you can use this jam' mudhakkar salim. Other than that, if it is something, if a masculine noun is غير عاقل, if a masculine noun is غير عاقل, like kitab, you cannot say kitabun. You cannot say kitabun, right? You will have to say kutub. You will have to use jam' mukassar. Masjid. Masjid is not a human being. You cannot say masjidun. You have to say masajid. مثلا, what else do we have? Masculine. And give me masculine nouns of غير عاقل. Something that is not an aqil and it's a masculine noun.
قلمون.
قلم. أحسنت. قلم. طيب. قلم. So can we say قلمون? Can we say قلمون يا إخوان?
No.
لا ما يمكن. ما يمكن أن نقول قلمون أبدا. ما يصلح. So what will we say? What will we use instead?
أقلام.
أقلام. أحسنت. طيب. Some more examples of غير عاقل for masculine nouns. Masculine nouns that are not عاقل.
شراب.
شراب. شراب يعني a drink. طيب. What will we say? Will we say شرابون or will we say something else? We will say أشربة. Now, how to know the plural of these broken plurals? They have various scales. See here, أقلام, like أفعال, شراب, أشرب, أفعل. How to know this? You have to memorize it, and this is a matter of concern in the science of sarf. This is studied in as-sarf. Right now in Nahw, generally you will not be learning the scales of these scales of plurals. You will not be learning it here. You will not be learning it here in Nahw. You will be learning it in sarf. واضح يا إخوان? So for anything that is غير عاقل and masculine now, you have to use جمع مكسر. You can only use جمع مذكر سالم, that is in which you add a waw and noon or a ya and noon. You can only use it for something that is عاقل, مسلمون, مؤمنون, خالدون, قائمون. Whenever something is being used as an adjective or it's being used as a noun to refer to a masculine human, that is when جمع مذكر سالم can be used. Otherwise, for any masculine noun for غير عاقل, something that is not a human, then you must use جمع مكسر. You must use جمع مكسر. طيب. Okay. Does it mean that if there is something that is an عاقل, that is عاقل, like a human being, can we use جمع مكسر for it as well sometimes?
Yes. For example,
Yes.
رجل.
رجل. In fact, we don't have جمع مذكر سالم for it. We don't say رجلون. We don't say it. Rather, we only say رجال. You see, we only say رجال. Likewise, مثلا, you have رسول. So what's the جمع of رسول? رسل. See, so it's not an hard and fast rule that عاقل غير عاقل. يعني they mention a lot of things with regards to its shurut, but I don't want to go too much into details. The point that I want to make clear here is that جمع مذكر سالم is only used for عاقل, and يعني that's the general rule. There are exceptions to it. There are some words for عاقل that are only يعني the plural form of which only exists as a جمع مكسر. يعني there are exceptions to this rule. نعم. There are a lot of words which you can make a جمع مذكر سالم of, and you can also make a جمع مكسر of. For example, كاتب, we said كاتبون. You can also say كتاب. Likewise, طالب, you can say طالبون, you can say طلاب. Likewise, لا كافرون لا ما يجي. نعم كافر, instead of you can say كافرون, you can say كفار. وهكذا. فاجر فجار. You see, فاجر فاجرون فجار. فاسق فاسقون فساق. وهكذا. So there are words that you have option of making a جمع مذكر سالم of or جمع مكسر. But inshallah, all of this, inshallah, you'll learn later on itself. Here, what is important for us right now is to be able to determine when a word is جمع مذكر سالم. And that is when there is an addition of waw and noon and ya and noon. طيب. جمع مؤنث سالم, on the other hand, we mentioned that anything, whether it's an عاقل or غير عاقل, as long as it is a feminine noun, it will be, it can, يعني, it's plural, can be made on as a جمع مؤنث سالم. You see? So مسلمة, مسلمات, ثلاجة, ثلاجات, سيارة, سيارات. Likewise, and those nouns that have ta marbuta, easily they go with an alif and ta. So مثلا ستارة, ستارات. What else do we have? Give me some examples of feminine nouns having a ta marbuta at the end. شباب, anything feminine noun having a ta marbuta at the end.
سيارة.
سيارة, سيارات. قارورة,
سعيدة.
which means a barrel. قارورات. سعيدة, there is a happy woman. سعيدات. قارورة, قارورات. عاملة, عاملات. وهكذا إلى آخر ذلك. I'm looking for objects around me. Haven't yet so far found any object that is feminine. لا بأس. سيارة. Okay, let's think about
طاولة.
something outside. طاولة. Oh, ممتاز. طاولة. Yeah, you found an object around you. ما شاء الله. So you can say طاولات. طاولة, طاولات. وهكذا. عرفتم? And on the other hand, يعني sometimes even if some noun is masculine, like ريال or like let's say مكيف. مكيف means the air conditioner. ريالات, مكيفات, you see. So this is a very inclusive, very يعني generic يعني plural. It can be used for a number of things. All right. And جمع مكسر we have already commented on it. طيب. Move on. Let's move. So far, inshallah, clear. And what's most important in this chapter, ya ikhwan, is for you to be able to recognize which one is Jam' Mudhakkar Salim, which one is Jam' Mu'annath Salim, and which one is Jam' Mukassar. That's it. That's all that is the goal of this chapter. واضح يا إخوان؟ طيب الآن لحظة. Where did we go? طيب. تنبيه: الجمع المكسر إذا كان لغير العاقل فإنه يعامل معاملة المفرد المؤنث كثيرا، وإذا كان للعاقل فمعاملة الجمع أحيانا، ومعاملة المفرد المؤنث أخرى. طيب, what does this mean يا إخوان? This means how to treat, يعني how do you, يعني when you are using a فعل with it, when you're using some verb with these plural forms, how do you treat them? So here is a very important point that we are making. الجمع المكسر. الجمع المكسر is the broken plural. إذا كان لغير العاقل, if it is being used for someone who is غير عاقل, like we mentioned كتاب, كتب, مساجد, جمع مكسر of شراب, أشربة, أقلام, مدرسة, مدارس, broken plurals, you see. What else do we have around us? Kutub, we are done with. Aqlam, we're done with it. Okay. These are 4 or 5 examples. إذا كان لغير العاقل. These are all examples of غير العاقل. فإنه يعامل. يعامل means it is treated. It is treated. It is given the treatment of المفرد المؤنث. It's treated like a mufrad mu'annath. It's treated like a singular feminine noun. What do we mean by this? So you're going to say هذه كتب وهذه أشربة وهذه مساجد وهذه مدارس وهذه أقلام. طيب. Also, when you are attributing some sort of fi'l to it, you will treat it like a mu'annath. مثلا جاءتني. Instead of saying جاءني, you will say جاءتني كتب. Some books came to me. Some books came to me. يعني I received some books. مثلا جاءتني كتب. You will also say الكتب مفيدة. أو مثلا هي الكتب, يعني referring to the books, you will say هي نافعة. They are very beneficial. هي نافعة. So you're saying هي. You see, you are treating it like a singular feminine noun. When the جمع مكسر is for something that is not عاقل, something that is not عاقل, لغير العاقل. طيب. Oh, Allah المستعان. Let me show the screen again. Mistakenly removed it. طيب. The second sentence says وإذا كان للعاقل, and if it is being used for عاقل, like رسول, رسل. We mentioned رجل, رجال, كافر, كفار, فاسق, فساق. مثلا, okay? If it is being used for عاقل, فمعاملة الجمع أحيانا ومعاملة المفرد المؤنث أخرى. Then it can be used, it can be treated. It will be given the treatment. Muamala means treatment. How do you treat it? So it will be given the treatment of a plural. Of a plural. أحيانا. And note down this word because we will, inshallah, mention it in our vocabulary list. أحيانا means at times. Yani often or at times. ومعاملة المفرد المؤنث, and it will be treated, it will be given as the treatment of مفرد مؤنث, يعني the singular feminine noun other times. Singular feminine noun. أخرى. أخرى means يعني أحيانا أخرى, يعني at other times. أخرى generally means other, but here what we mean to say is أحيانا أخرى يعني at other times. What does this mean? This means يا إخوان that if the جمع مكسر, the broken plural, if it is being used for an aqil, then sometimes you can treat it like a feminine noun, other times you can treat it like a plural. So مثلا you can say الرسل, you can say الرسل جاءت, and here you're treating it like a singular feminine noun, and you can also say الرسل جاءوا, and here you're treating it like a plural. You can say الرجال قالت, singular feminine noun, the men said, and you can also say الرجال قالوا. And that is why in the Quran you have in some of the ayahs قالت لهم رسلهم, قالت لهم رسلهم. Why قالت is for feminine nouns? Nah, because rusul is جمع مكسر, and جمع مكسر can be treated like a singular feminine noun. And at other times they have قالوا أفي الله, قالوا مثلا قالوا إن نحن إلا بشر مثلكم ولكن الله يمن على من يشاء من عباده. So at times, and in the same context, in some ayat قالوا was used for these same rusul, and in some instances قالت was used for them. That means the جمع مكسر, if it is for an aqil, for a human being, for an aqil, لحظة, what's going on? Allah understand. There's some issue. Right. If it is for an aqil, then it can be treated sometimes that, and it's up to you. You want to treat it like a feminine noun? Up to you. You want to treat it like a plural? Up to you. Allah understand. شو المشكلة؟ طيب. So you want to treat it like a plural, it's up to you. You want to treat it like a singular feminine noun, it's up to you. But when it comes to the جمع مكسر for غير عاقل, like كتب, مساجد, it will almost always be treated like a singular feminine noun. Okay, singular feminine noun. So you will say هذه الكتب instead of saying هؤلاء الكتب. Instead of saying these books, and you will say these in Arabic for kutub, you will use the word for singular feminine noun هذه. واضح يا إخوان؟ هذه الكتب. And this is an additional point. If you miss it out right now, if you're unable to understand it right now, it's fine. ما في مشكلة. Inshallah, in the coming chapters, it will become clear to you. بإذن الله تعالى. But this is just for you to keep in mind that if the جمع مكسر is used for غير عاقل, it is almost always treated like a singular feminine noun. And if it is used for aqil, then it can be treated like a plural or a singular feminine noun. Singular feminine noun, looking at the word, because it's a jama mukassar, and one of the qualities of jama mukassar is that it's always female. And we can use it as a plural, looking at the meaning that it is referring to, looking at its ma'na, because it is referring to a group of men, or group of men. Now, واضح يا إخوان? Is this clear? Is this mas'ala clear? Or should I repeat it?
Inshallah.
It's clear.
It's clear.
I know it's a little difficult, but inshallah it's clear. Hopefully. And if it's clear, inshallah, you can later on بإذن الله تعالى and go through it again and again in order to perfect it. بإذن الله تعالى. طيب. المسألة الثالثة, and before we go into the مسألة الثالثة, I'd like ourselves to just for a little bit يعني go through Surah Al-Fatiha just for a little bit in order to يعني be able to يعني just apply some of what we have learned so far. So لحظة, let me just turn to Surah Al-Fatiha. سورة الفاتحة. Okay, so far we have learned a few things. We have learned مذكر مؤنث, we have learned جمع and مفرد مثنى and جمع. So let's try, and we have also learned that كلمة is اسم فعل حرف. We have learned the علامات of اسم فعل حرف. So يعني, because why did we choose Surah Al-Fatiha? Because most of us, or almost all of us, know the meanings of Surah Al-Fatiha. طيب. Let us start with the very first words. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah. طيب. How many words is Bismillah? How many words is Bismillah?
2 words.
Okay. Someone else has some other opinion? 3 words. Ahsan, it's 3 words. First, we have a ba here, and that's a separate word. Then we have the word isim. And actually, it was supposed to be written like this, but because Bismillah is written so commonly, that Arabs, instead of writing it in this way, Bismillah, this was supposed to be written like this, they just wrote it like this, because it's just, that's how it's read almost always, and it's commonly used. Just like in Ar-Rahman, you will never find someone writing Ar-Rahman like this. Why? Because that's how the Arabs wrote it in this way, you know, having an extra alif. That's how they write it. You will never find the Arabs writing Dhalika like this. You will always find them writing it like this, you see? So those words that are commonly used, Arabs tend to, you know, sometimes drop some of the huruf of it because they know how it's written. Hada. Have you ever seen someone write hada like this? Hada? No, never. Hada is always written like this. Hada. Now, even though there is an alif here, but they don't write it, right? So Bismillah is 3 words. Bismillah is 3 words. Ba, then isim, and then Allah. طيب. So let's start with ba. What is ba, ya ikhwan? Is it an ism, or is it a fi'l, or is it a harf? And look at its meaning also. If you know the meaning, first try to recognize whether it's an ism, fi'l, or harf by its meaning. If unable, then go to the alamat.
It's a harf.
It's a harf. Okay. Why is it a harf? Because its meaning is neither an ism nor a fi'l. Ba means with something, you know, with the, starting with or using something. So ba al-isti'ana, and here it means with, and with is not neither an ism nor a fi'l, right? And also another one of the alama that we mentioned the other day, remember, if you remember, the two letters or 1 letter is always a harf. Almost always 2-lettered words, 1-letter words are huruf. You see, min, fi, lam, you know, li, or bi, or ka. These 1-letter words are always the huruf, right? So ba is a harf. Right? Ism. What is ism, ya akhwan? Is an ism fi'l or harf? First its meaning, then the alamat.
It's an ism.
It's an ism. Why is it an ism?
From the meaning.
From the meaning, okay,
And the
because its
alamat.
name, it doesn't contain any you know, action in it. It doesn't contain any verb in it, and it's referring to some sort of a thing, right? It's a name, place, animal, or thing. So it's a thing. Ism. It's a thing. Okay, very good. And then from the alamat, have you ever heard any of the alamat that we mentioned? Have you ever heard the word ismun, or ever heard the word al-ism, or ever heard the word مثلا okay, al-ism or ismun? Have you ever heard it before?
Yes. No, for this day, the alamat here is the kasra, because it is only
The kasra, because of the khaft. Okay, because that was something that was a little difficult, so I didn't mention. But generally, how are you supposed to use the alamat, even if it does not exist here, the alama? Try to put into it and check. See, have you ever heard the word al-ism?
Yes.
Yes, and we have also heard the word sometimes ismun. And for someone who has read through some Arabic books or has read through the Quran a little bit, he will find مثلا, such examples where he can test whether he has heard it or not. So al-ism, that's why it's an ism. It's a noun because, first of all, because of its meanings, and because of the alamat that are truly يعني that are true to it. Now, Allah, is it an ism, فعل or حرف? The لفظ الجلالة.
It's an ism.
طيب, why is it an ism?
Because it's because from the meaning we know it's ism al-dalala. We know the meaning.
Okay, and it's referring to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the being, and it's referring to a being, it's not referring to an action. That's why it's Allah, an ism. Also, it contains Allah, and يكفي إن شاء الله. Ar-Rahman is an ism or fi'l or harf?
اسم.
It's an
طيب,
ism.
how do we know it's an ism?
From
The
the
name.
meaning we know Ar-Rahman is a part of, we say Asma'ullah al-Husna. So
Okay, it's from the names of Allah, from the meaning, Mumtaz, and it's also an adjective referring to describing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's not referring to any action happening here. It's not referring to any action happening here. And in addition to this, we have also al at the beginning of Ar-Rahman. Likewise, Ar-Rahim is an ism, fi'l or harf.
it's an ism.
It's an ism as well, Mumtaz. طيب, same alamat as Ar-Rahman. طيب, يلا, Alhamdu is an ism, fi'l or harf.
It's an ism.
اسم.
Ahsant, how do we know it's an ism?
It has al before.
Alif al-lam.
Alif and Lam, and also the meaning of Alhamd. What is its meaning? Praises. This is something, yeah. It's not an action happening, you see. It's not the occurrence of an action that it's referring to at some particular time. It's not referring to a verb. It's not, it cannot be a harf, so it's an ism. Ahsant. طيب, Alhamdulillah. How many words is lillahi?
2 words.
2 words. Okay, Lam. Is Lam a harf, a fi'l, or an ism?
It's a harf.
حرف.
Harf. Ahsantum. Then harf, why? Because it's 1 letter word. Because of its meaning, it means for. Mumtaz. All praises are for Allah. طيب, Allah, we have already discussed it. Rabbil Alameen. Rabbi. Is it an ism, fi'l, or harf?
It's an ism.
اسم.
It's an ism. Mumtaz. Why do you think it's an ism now?
From the meaning,
From the meaning, Mumtaz.
and also it's not it does not indicate an action.
Mumtaz. طيب. Does not indicate any action, and must have also heard مثلا الرب يقول الرب, and with an al, it fits with an al. It also fits with a رب, وهكذا. طيب, العالمين اسم, فعل or حرف?
Ism.
اسم. طيب, why is it an ism?
Because of Alif al-lam.
Because of the al and because of its meaning as well. أحسنت. بارك الله فيك. طيب, الرحمن الرحيم, we're done with it. مالك يوم الدين. Malik, is it an ism or a fi'l or a harf?
Ism.
It's an ism. طيب, ممتاز. Why is it an ism?
Number 1, the meaning, and what's the meaning?
Because of the meaning, and also because you have heard the word al-Malik from one of the names of Allah, al-Malik, وهكذا. طيب, يوم الدين. طيب, يلا نتجاوز. Let's move on to نعبد. اسم, فعل or حرف?
Fi'l.
How do you know it's fi'l? Looking at its meaning, first of all.
It's an action.
It's an action. أحسن. نعبد, to worship Allah. We worship you. It's an action in the present tense. نعبد. So إياك نعبد, we worship you, O Allah. وإياك نستعين. What about نستعين? اسم, فعل or حرف?
Fi'l.
فعل again. ممتاز. طيب, إياك اسم, فعل or حرف?
It's an ism.
It's an ism referring to someone. some being. That's why it's an ism. طيب. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. How many words is اهدنا?
2 words.
2 words. طيب اهدي. First of all, اهدي. Is it an ism فعل or حرف?
It's a fi'l.
Well, how do you know it's a fi'l? What does it mean?
It means guide us. It's fi'l amr from the meaning.
أحسنت. Guide us. Guide us. And guide us is an action. Guide us. An action. Do it. Do this. Right? That's what it means. يعني guide us is a فعل دعاء. يعني فعل أمر which means دعاء here. اهدي. طيب اهدينا. Na. What is na?
حرف.
ليس
Now you have to look at that. So this is where these exceptions occur. Now look at, that's why the meaning is important. What does na refer to here? Guide us. What is us? Us is people, person, right? People, us. That's why na is an ism. عرفتم يا اخوان؟ na is an ism. طيب اهدنا. الصراط المستقيم. واضح. This is easy. صراط الذين. What's الذين?
It's ism.
It's an ism. طيب. How do we know that it's an ism?
The al and then the meaning.
The meaning. What's the meaning of الذين?
Those.
Okay. That is referring to the persons, to people, and that's why it's an ism. طيب أنعمت. How many words is أنعمت?
2 words.
2 words. Okay. أنعم. What's the meaning of أنعم?
I'm blessed. Once you blessed.
نعم, blessed and bestowed your bounties, etc. You showered your blessings, your ni'mah, you gave your ni'mah. أنعم. طيب. And ta, what does ta mean?
Ta is an ism, meaning speaking to an amta. Like
أنعمت. يعني أنعمت يعني you. What you blessed us with. You. So ta means you. It's referring to a person, being. You see? So أنعم is referring to an action. Ta is referring to a being. أنعم is an ism, فعل or حرف?
Anam is a fi'l.
And ta is an
Ism.
because it's referring to a being. طيب. عليهم. How many words is عليهم?
Two words.
2 words. Okay. First word علي or على. What is this?
It's a harf.
It's a harf. Okay. Why is it not an ism? على means on.
It does not indicate any from the meaning, and then it does not.
From the meaning, it does not indicate any action, nor is it referring to any person, place, or an animal or thing. It's what is referring to is just the direction, on. And this, we said, this is the role of prepositions in English. On, with, off. You see? So this is a harf. Mumtaz. Alayhim, him. What is him referring to? What does it mean?
Them.
Them. Okay, them is yani persons. That means it's an ism, fi'l or harf.
It's an ism.
أحسنت بارك الله فيك. طيب. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. يلا ولا. How many words is ولا?
2.
2 words. أحسنت. طيب. What's the meaning of the wow? And okay, it's an ism, fi'l or harf?
Harf.
Is it? It's a harf. It's not referring to a person, place, animal, thing. It's not referring to an action. What is left is harf. That's the only option that we're left with. Okay. La. What's la? What is the meaning of la?
La. Not.
طيب. Is it ism, fi'l or harf?
Harf.
خلاص ممتاز. That's the meaning of that's يعني. Yes. Now there are some we could not understand work on the jam', so far, but inshallah I will look for a surah in Juz Amma where there is a lot of jam' يعني جموع, there is Salim and Mukassar, so that we can also work on Jam' Salim and Jam' Mukassar as well, inshallah. But something from Juz Amma or some surah that we know of and understand. طيب الآن انتهينا من ال طيب لحظة. Abu Bakr, did you raise your hand? Barakallah fiqh.
Yes, I raised my hand. So I just wanted to make a suggestion regarding, you said the surah, there's this verse in Surah Al-Ahzab. I think it will be...
Surah Al-Ahzab, which part are you referring to?
إن المسلمين والمسلمات.
ممتاز, that's one. المسلمين والمسلمات. And Jam' Mukassar, I'm also looking for some Jam' Mukassar, some surah with a lot of Jam' Mukassar, inshallah. That we'll do in the next class, both of these. And Muslimin and Muslimati, inshallah, for the Jam' Salim. And for Jam' Mukassar, I'll just look for something which has a lot of Jam' Mukassar, inshallah, in the Quran. If someone has some part of the Quran that has a lot of Jam' Mukassar in it, then please let us know. And inshallah, we'll go through it in the next class. طيب المسألة الثالثة, اقرأ يا أخي أبا بكر.
نعم، الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. فيقول المؤلف حفظه الله: المسألة الثالثة انقسام الاسم إلى معرفة ونكرة وبيان أقسام الاسم للمعرفة. المعرفة هي الشيء المعروف المتعين ذاته من بين ذوات جنسه نحو القصوى ناقة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم، فهي متعينة معروفة من سائر النوع الأخرى.
طيب هنا يقول, now this is the third classification of ism, and that is ism that is divided into ma'rifa and nakira. In English, what is ma'rifa, what is nakira? Ma'rifa refers to the definite nouns that are definite. Where did my pen go? ملابس إن شاء الله. لا خلاص وجدت الحمد لله. So ma'rifa refers to the definite nouns, something that is specific, particular, you're referring to, definite. So we mentioned an example of al-qaswa. Qaswa was the camel of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if I say a camel, it can be any camel of the different camels, right? But when I say al-qaswa, then it is referring to a particular camel, the camel of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Likewise, if I say the camel, then I am referring to a particular camel, the camel, because that's where we are situated, mathalan, and the context of things, I'm referring to a particular camel. طيب. نعم. وَنَكِرَ means indefinite. It can be any one of these camels. ناقة, a camel. Any one of these. It can be this, it can be this, it can be this. I saw a camel. I'm not any camel. طيب. Likewise, مثلا رجل, a man. Any man, it can be anyone, right? But when I say the man, I'm referring to a particular man. Or when I say Muhammad, I'm referring to a particular person. Or when I say huwa, I'm referring to a particular person. When I say alladhi, I'm referring to a particular person. So all of these are definite nouns. These are ma'rifah. All of these are ma'rifah. So ma'rifah, barakallahu fikum, is that thing, hiya shay'ul ma'roof, something that is known. Al-muta'ayyinatu dhatuhu. Yani its essence, it's muta'ayyina. Muta'ayyina means it's determined, it's specified. Muta'ayyina, something that has been specified, who we are talking about. It's not random, arbitrary. طيب. من بين ذوات جنسه نحو القصواء ناقة الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم فهي متعينة معروفة من سائر النوق الأخرى. It is known and specified from amongst, and it's distinguished from amongst the other camels. طيب. وضابطها. And here we have a very important and easy rule to follow. كل اسم لا يقبل ال فهو معرفة. Any ism that does not accept al, that does not accept the addition of al to it, then it is معرفة. فمكة مثلا لا تقبل al, فهي إذا معرفة. مكة, can you say al-Makkah? Have you ever heard someone say al-Makkah? لا. إذا ما تقبل al, إذن هي معرفة. Likewise مثلا someone's name is Umar. Can you say al-Umar? ما يجي. You don't say al-Umar. That means it's a معرفة. Likewise al-Ladhi. Now al-Ladhi, can you say al-Ladhi?
No.
You cannot say al-Ladhi. That's why it's a معرفة. Can you say, يعني for مثلا al-Kitab, can you say al-Kitab? الكتاب ما يمكن. إذن هذا معرفة. يعني إذن الكتاب is معرفة. But if I only said kitab, if I said kitab without an al, then I can add an al to it. I can say instead of kitabun, I can say al-kitab. That means kitab is non-ma'rifah. But once it has already accepted one al, and I've said al-kitab, now I cannot add any more als to it. So I cannot say al-kitab. Hence al-kitab is ma'rifah. وهكذا. So anything that does not accept al is معرفة. طيب اقرأ يا أخي. والنكرة.
نعم. والنكرة هي ما كانت ذاته غير متعينة من بين سائر ذوات جنسه نحو رجل فإنه غير متعين من بين سائر الرجال.
أحسنت. رجل يعني it's not specified. It can be any one of the men. And likewise جمل أو ناقة, any one of the camels. You see, a camel, a man, رجل. فإنه غير متعين. It is not specified from amongst the other men. وضابطها.
نعم. وضابطها كل اسم يقبل آل فهو نكرة. فالرجل يقبل آل ليصير الرجل وهو إذن نكرة.
Now the ضابط for nakira is the opposite of ma'rifah. Ma'rifah, we said anything that does not accept al, it's ma'rifah. Any ism that does not accept al is a ma'rifah. On the other hand, nakira is every ism that accepts al. So if any ism accepts al, it's a nakira. That means it's a nakira. For مثلا, so we say rajulun. Now can I add al to rajulun? Yes, I can. It would accept. We would say then الرجل. معنى هذا أن رجلا كان nakira. It means that رجل was a nakira. Likewise, if I say kitabun, can I say al-kitab?
Yes, you can say al-kitab.
Now, if I can say al-kitab, that means kitabun was nakira. Now we have a word qalamun. Can I say al-qalam?
Yes, you can say al-qalam.
That means qalamun was a nakira. But if I say qalami, my pen, qalami, can I say al-qalami?
No, you cannot.
You cannot say al-qalami. Why? Because just like in English, we don't say the my pen or my the pen. You don't say that. You say my pen. You don't say the my pen or my the pen. Likewise in Arabic, you can't say al-qalami. ما يصلح. معنى هذا qalami is ma'rifah. This means that qalami is ma'rifah. Why is it ma'rifah? We'll come to it later on. But it is ma'rifah. Why? Because it does not accept al. طيب كذلك يا اخوان مثلا إذا عندي مثلا سيارة. Can I say السيارة?
Yes, you can say السيارة.
معنى هذا ايش؟ معناته انه nakira. That means it is nakira because it accepts al. That means it's nakira. أحسنت. طيب. Finally, can I say ساعة? Can I say الساعة?
Yes, you can say الساعة.
إذن هو إيش؟ إذن هو nakira. But if I say ساعته, his watch or his time, ساعته, his watch. Can I say as-sa'atuhu?
No, you cannot.
No, you cannot say as-sa'atuhu, his the watch. ما يصلح, not in English nor in Arabic. That means that ساعته is معرفة. طيب, معرفة بارك الله فيكم is of 6 types, and this is what we will inshallah be learning in the next درس. الضمير, العلم, اسم الإشارة, الاسم الموصول, المعرف بال, المضاف إلى معرفة. Each one of these requires from us يعني quite a bit of focus, and ضمير is going to take a lot of time. اسم الإشارة is going to take a bit of time. Likewise, اسم الموصول. These 3 are relatively easy. ضمير, however, is going to take a lot of time, and مضاف إلى معرفة requires some good understanding from us, inshallah. So نكتفي أيها الإخوة الكرام بهذا القدر, وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. من كان عنده سؤال فليسأل. تفضلوا. من عنده سؤال فليسأل. طيب, إذن لا توجد أسئلة الظاهر. There is one in the chat. Is alamin considered عاقل? It's not considered عاقل. That's why you don't call it جمع مذكر سالم. And technically, and if you go deep into it, they don't call it جمع مذكر سالم. They call it ملحق بجمع المذكر السالم. ملحق يعني it is considered يعني like جمع مذكر سالم. ملحق يعني they treat it like it, but it's not جمع مذكر سالم. See, likewise, مثلا 20, 20, 20, it's not عاقل, the word 20, right? 20, but they say ملحق بجمع المذكر السالم. Likewise, عليين in سورة المطففين, وما أدراك ما عليون. This is also, they call it ملحق بجمع المذكر السالم وهكذا. They don't call it جمع المذكر السالم because it's not عاقل. بارك الله فيك. إذن نقف هنا, والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.